Now here I am literally sitting waiting here on a tube while I talk to you. You see, as I said, I film these broadcasts as I'm around and about London and like to share where I am with you on a regular basis. As you can imagine, you must be thinking, Neil, do you live on a bus, a train, a tube? You're doing this job actually, and of course, you know, the glamour of it is the fact that you have to dart back and forth to get wherever you've got to get to. And as many people say, yes, don't worry chums, I'm very safe here sat on the tube. The interesting thing that I wanted to share with you today though is, well, it's one that's literally, how can I use this term nicely? Well, it's been elevated by none other than the former royal known as the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle. As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. We'll have a lovely, I can't wave too much here because I'm a bit tied in. Nice to see you. You all right today? Thank you so much as ever for joining me on yet another ride on a London tube. You know what's interesting, what I find about Meghan is the fact that each time she sits down to do another interview, it always turns into a disaster. The recent one with Jamie Kerner Lima or whatever wasn't a success. And this one, Aspire, now with Emma, seemingly is the same thing. I see, part of the problem that I believe is that Meghan really cannot stick to a narrative. Each story changes. Suddenly now she's got a relative who was an antiques dealer. Before, you know, she was literally living on the set of Married with Children. Then apparently she was selling scrunchies and writing to soap companies. Each and every time she seems to rewrite. Now my thing is that I believe she does this literally for attention. Knows that people pick up on everything, pick apart, all of that sort of stuff. And in her eyes, keeps her relevant, right? People talking about her. That's exactly what she wants to do. But you see, all of these things truly backfire. And according to a well-placed source currently working for the Markles, as they're called, out in California, many people have tried to tell Meghan that in fact you're just creating too many enemies. And the problem that she does and will not listen to is the fact that each time she appears somewhere, she creates more. Let me explain. So apparently it got so bad behind the scenes that even the former royal known as the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, has now got involved. And this is all because, once again, Meghan's decided to stoke the fire. You see, during the sit down with Emma, she basically decided to, well, ask the question, what would you do differently if you could get the opportunity? Meghan seized that opportunity to point out that she just wished people would actually be honest and tell the truth. Now, as you can imagine, this has truly exploded. None more so with palace staff who had an horrendous time working for Meghan and Harry, and they've been quite vocal about it. But because of lockdown NDAs, they're not allowed to go public. And I would tell you this actually, chums, that this is normally, I would also say to quite a few of the staff that I've sat down and spoken with off the record, this is out of respect for the late monarch, Queen Elizabeth. If you remember, she wanted to keep that investigation private. Some might say to spare both the blushes of the Sussexes. But Meghan, you know, is pushing hard and basically saying, well, it's not her fault. But when you look at the evidence, it's not just the Royal Association, is it? Of course, Vanity Fair and The Hollywood Reporter both came up with individual cases of staff who have been traumatized, seeking, of course, therapy after working for Meghan and Harry. Now, according to the staff member, basically, Harry is begging Meghan not to create any more enemies. You see, part of the friction between the ex-royal couple is the fact that she seemingly gets all the blame. He's always painted in a very nice light, a bit of a boy, man-child, that sort of stuff, who seemingly doesn't fall out with staff and all of that. You see how this works. So Meghan, each time she gets the opportunity to sit down with somebody like a podcast, wants to kick back and point out when in fact she's just been an entrepreneurial mom doing lunch boxes, and if she has to be snappy and tough, then she's seen as a diva. Meanwhile, Harry gets a clean slate because he has a troubled background, a troubled past, and has spoken about his mental health. Behind the scenes, things are becoming a little bit fractious, with everything falling apart, from the Netflix deal to the cancellation of the Lemonada, to the fact that Meghan clearly cannot handle any business venture, without, of course, a lot of money from Prince Harry's private income. None of these things, as I've pointed out, have been successful independently, and Meghan knows this. But what she really wants to correct in the public domain is the fact that she's in fact a nice, warm, fuzzy, cuddly type of person and doesn't understand why her public image doesn't resonate with that. Meanwhile, Prince Harry, who was supposed to join her at one point for the sit down with that latest podcast, bailed out of it simply because he didn't apparently, according to a source and as ever allegedly, like the direction that it was going in. It's a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of London's underground.